Okay, now we are pretty close to having the data set for the final analysis. So remember that we have been in the whole journey. We started from these two raw data sets, and actually we read and treated these two raw data sets, and actually we incorporate that into the steps. So we don't need to have these two icons here, right? So with all of these data sets, we start from a setting and then check the data, and then we have the study data, and then we have a cohort, and then we have all the hospitalizations, right? So basically this is all in the B part, yeah, the hospitalization part. Then we clean up the hospitalization, we have the cancer records, and then we handle the opiate medication part. We calculate the MBQ, and also we calculate the daily MBQ. All right, so now we can have the final step before statistic analysis, which is this making the data for J mode, which is the statistic analysis. So this part is indeed very simple, So the first is, of course, we're gonna. So basically, this part is to connect the cohort with the hospitalization and opiate use results. This is just a join table, right? So we're gonna join the cohort with the hospitalization, which in this case we're gonna take the hospitalization with the daily MEQ records and also with the indicator of cancer. Yeah. So so the result data is gonna be like this. So we have the patients, we have each hospitalization records, and then we have the indicator of cancer or not. Um, we have MBQ, which is the daily MBQ. We also have the patient's age on admission and the sex, right? So these are basically all the information we want to have. And also we made two columns. One is the age with decimal. This is more precise if you're gonna make a mean or standardization or treat age as a continuous variable. It's better to use this one. But we also have an integer version of age, and this one is more to be used for categorization. All right, so we have these data. We have all of these data that we need to have for the analysis. Now let's just go ahead and do some basic statistics like the means, right? So we're gonna check first. We're gonna check the use of opiate medications and see how it looks like. We're gonna have a lot of statistics. We have the mean, all right? So we have the median number, right? So we have a quintile range. We have the minimum and the maximum. You can see the range is quite wide. So now, based on these numbers, we can have a decision. So if we want to dichotomously determine whether it is a high use or lower use, we can use the mean or we can use the median. So I'm going to use the mean here, but it's up to you to decide which one is more relevant to your study. Okay, so this is one way of looking at that. The other is, of course, we can do a univariate analysis because this one is basically to make a histogram to see how the distribution looks like. So it's like this. So most of the people are going to in this bar. At the middle is like 3, um, but the range is within 5, 0 to 5, right? But of course, this is this is dummy data, so it's not going to reflect the real situation. But uh, you so in your study, you should do the same analysis to understand how the distribution of that looks like. All right, so finally, we're gonna add one term, one variable, which is to indicate the outcome, which is um, to indicate um, what is to define what is a high use of opiate medications, right? So I would treat in that from that mean, because the mean is 5.6. I'm going to use that as a cutoff to define the high use of opiate medication. But in your case, you can define by yourself, or you can have a range of that with this as the main analysis, and with the rest of that you can test a 9, you can test 3 as those sensitivity analysis. Right. So with all of this, we can finally make a cross table, which is by this proc freak, and basically it's going to tell you that how is the split of those outcome, whether or not it is high opiate use, 1 or 0, based on the 5.6 MEQ cutoff, and how many people are there. So this is how you're going to use this frequency table to get this. So we're going to talk about these statistic related procedures later um, in the statistic analysis part. But that's it. That's basically that's all the steps and all the journey we're going to have, starting from scratch to have the data ready for the statistic analysis.